government from the month of January. Now, initiatives by Panchayati Raj institutions to combat climate change. Several Panchayati Raj institutions have undertaken innovative initiatives to combat climate change. Now, unique initiatives taken by Panchayati Raj institution, Meenagadi Gram Panchayat in Wayanad, Kerala. Now, in 2016, the Meenagadi Panchayat envisaged a project called Carbon Neutral Meenagadi. An action plan was prepared by organizing Gram Sabha meetings. Entire community was involved in the process with school students, youth, technical and academic institutions given different assignments. Socioeconomic surveys and energy use mappings were carried out. Awareness programs through campaigns, classes, and studies were undertaken. A greenhouse gas emission inventory was prepared. Tree banking was one of the landmark schemes introduced to aid carbon neutral activities, which encouraged the planting of more trees by extending interest free loans. Local economic development was a thrust area where LED bulbs manufacturing and related micro enterprise was initiated. Moving on to Palli Gram Panchayat in Jammu and Kashmir, it follows the same people centric model with specific local activities. The Panchayat has prepared a climate resilient plan where villages have been made aware of the climate change mitigation factors. Biogas plants and solar panels will be introduced. A solar plant, which is of 500 kilowatt, has been installed to power 340 households. Now, Seachwal Gram Panchayat in Punjab, the Kali Bain River, which was rejuvenated with people's involvement. Tikke Karwadi Gram Panchayat in Maharashtra. It is well known for its extensive use of biogas plants and green energy production. Chappar Padavu Gram Panchayat. In Kerala, it has several community nurtured green islands. Now, steps taken by the Ministry of Panchayat Raj, Clean and Green Village theme. Now, the Ministry of Panchayati Raj has focused its attention on localizing the sustainable development goals on thematic basis. Now, Clean and Green Village is one of the themes under it. Under this theme, panchayats can take up activities on natural resource management, biodiversity protection, waste management, and afforestation activities. Over 1 lakh gram panchayats have been prioritized with this theme as one of their focus areas for 2022-23. Now, Lion at 47 Vision for Amrutkal. Now, the government has prepared a document titled Lion at 47 Vision for Amrutkal as a part of Project Lion for conservation of Asiatic lions in Gir, Gujarat. Now, objective of the document is to secure and restore lion habitats for managing their growing population, scale up livelihood generations and participation of local communities, become a global hub of knowledge on big cat diseases, diagnostic and treatment. Now, create inclusive biodiversity conservation through Project Lion initiative. Now, about the Project Lion, it is being implemented by Government of Gujarat and other stakeholders like Central Zoo Authority. The project envisaged landscape ecology based conservation of Asiatic lions in Gujarat by integrating conservation and eco development. The project is being implemented in the Gir landscape in Gujarat, which is last home of Asiatic lions. Now, about the Integrated Development of Wildlife Habitat Scheme. Integrated Development of Wildlife Habitat Scheme is a centrally sponsored scheme in 2008-9. Its aim is to provide to protected areas, that is national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, conservation reserves, community reserves, except for tiger reserves. So tiger reserves are not included because we have a different authority for it. Now, protection of wildlife outside the forest protected areas are recovery programs for saving critically endangered species and habitats. Moving on to the READ mechanism, the idea of incentivizing countries to protect forest first surfaced in the COP11 of Montreal. It was finally approved at COP27, which is Sharm el Sheikh in 2022. Now, reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradation, that is READ, it is a global endeavor to create incentives for developing countries to protect, better manage, and save their forest resources, thus contributing to the global fight against climate change. Now, 3 UN agencies, which are UNEP, UNDP, and FAO, have collaborated in the establishment of UN READ program. Now, READ Plus goes beyond merely checking deforestation and forest degradation and includes incentive for positive elements of conservation, sustainable management of forest, and enhancement of forest carbon stock. Now, READ Plus incentivizes developing countries to keep their forests conserved by offering result based payments for action to reduce and remove forest carbon emissions. Thus, it can play a big role in protection of biodiversity, strengthening the resilience of forest ecosystems, and reducing poverty. The key idea behind REED is the forest capture and store huge amounts of carbon dioxide. This is of great value in the world facing climate change. Now, the REED mechanism has only been approved in 2022, fully approved. Okay. So, rationale for REED is a hectare of tropical forest absorbs 50 to 100 tons of CO2 per annum. Forests support biodiversity. The vast majority of the forest animals, birds, insects, each with its own natural service, live in forest. Many developing countries have huge forest reserves. Forest can produce carbon credits on basis of carbon dioxide they capture and store. These can be sold on international carbon markets. Now, REID offset will take a significant part of this trade and provide resources to tropical countries. Now, about Coalition for Rainforest Nations, it has more than 50 members. The members are primarily tropical countries. Its purpose is to work within UNFCCC for framework and the COP meetings. The coalition sends its representatives to these meetings to argue for its goal to be included in the COP agenda and produce papers supporting these arguments. Moving on to CPCB, report on polluted rivers. Now, Central Pollution Control Board, the report says that the number of polluted stretches in India's river have fallen from 351 in 2018 to 311 in 2022. Now, the CPCB network, which is the Central Pollution Control Board network, monitors water quality at 4,484 locations across the country. The classifications are bio-oxygen demand exceeding 3 milligrams per liter is identified as polluted locations. A BOD less than 3 milligrams per liter means that the river stretch is fit for outdoor bathing. Two or more polluted locations identified on a river in a continuous sequence are considered a polluted river stretch. Now, these categorizations are BOD exceeding 30 milligram per liter, considered priority 1, meaning the most polluted and thus needing the most urgent remediation. The rest of the priority, that is priority 2 to priority 5, were defined based on BOD less than 30 milligrams per liter. The success of river cleaning programs are measured by the number of stretch moving from 1 to 2, 2 to 3 until those in 5 requiring the least action to reduce. Rationale for the report. Now, the National Green Tribunal passed orders that CPCB and Jal Shakti Ministry monitor river pollution and ensure that it is addressed. Now, every state has to ensure that at least one river stretch was restored to be at least fit for bathing. Now, findings of the CPCB report is that there is almost no change, slight change in P1 and P2 categories of polluted stretch from 2018 and 2022. This indicates that further stringent actions are required for control of organic pollutions from various point sources of pollution. There is also a need for development of infrastructure and its proper operation for treatment of wastewater before discharge into recipient wastewater bodies. Now, Gujarat and UP have the highest number of priority 1 river stretches. Maharashtra had the most polluted river stretch of 55, followed by Madhya Pradesh, Bihar 18, and Kerala 18. So these are the number of stretches and these are the number of sites with priority levels of 1. Now, the overall decrease in the net number of identified polluted river stretches, which have been shown improvement in water quality, could be attributed to the efforts done by infrastructure development for pollution control. Example, wastewater treatment plants. Impact of NCAP. Now, the Center of Research on Energy and Clean Air has released a report analyzing the impact of National Clean Air Program, that is NCAP. Now, about the NCAP. NCAP was launched by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change in 2019. Its aim is to bring 20 to 30% reduction in pollution levels from PM 2.5 and PM 10 particles by 2024 from the 2007 pollution levels as a base, 2017 pollution levels. Now it covers 132 of India's most polluted or so-called non-attainment cities. This is defined as a city whose air quality did not meet the National Ambient Air Quality Standards from 2011 to 2015. For dispersing fund, the CPCB coordinates the program, considers level of PM10, which are relatively larger coastal particles only. However, PM 2.5, the smaller, more dangerous particles, aren't monitored as robustly in all cities, mostly due to lack of equipments. Now, cities are required to quantify improvements stating starting 2020-21, which required 15% and more reduction in the annual average of PM10 concentrations and a concurrent increase in the good air days to at least 200. Now, anything fewer will be considered low and the funding consequently will be reduced. Progress of the NCAP. Now, air quality has improved in only 49 of the 131 cities in 2021-22 compared to 2020-21. Less polluted cities like Bengaluru, Mumbai, Chennai are seeing an increase in pollutants, while the worst ones like Ghaziabad marginally improved their air quality. Only 38 of the 331 cities that were given annual pollution reduction targets under the agreement signed between the state pollution control boards and the urban local bodies and the center managed to meet the targets. So only 38 managed to meet the targets for 21-22. Now, the report estimates that there is a need to install more than 300 manual air quality monitoring stations per year to reach the NCAP goal of 1500 monitoring stations by 2024. So far, only 180 stations were installed over the past 4 years. Now, importance of rainforest canopies. Now, the canopies of the rainforest perform several important functions in forest ecosystem. Canopies, when compared to forest floor, is full of sunshine, windier, and with extremes temperature and humidity. This is because diversity of plants and animals involved to live in this microenvironment could not be seen in the forest floor. Canopies also perform several functions such as capture nutrients and provide resources for birds, mammals, and insects. Anything which affects canopies impact the rainforest as a whole. Moreover, canopies are also known as last biotic frontier because it is very hard to reach to those canopies as they are at a great height from forest floor. Now, about epiphytes and their roles. Epiphytes are plants which grow on the trunk and branches of the trees. They lack roots, due to which they do not get nutrients from trees or the ground. Instead, they derive nutrients from rainfall, mist, and cloud. When they perish and fall to the forest floor, they pass these nutrients to other members of the ecosystems. So, epiphytes function as a giant sponge in the canopy which move nutrient resource down into the forest ecosystem. In this research, it has been found that 33% of all work visits were to epiphytes, not the host trees. Hence, epiphytes plays an important role in lives of birds and animals occupying such rainforest. That'll be it.